All right. Welcome, everybody, to season 4, episode 1 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We are back live for the first episode of season 4. We're looking forward to a great show today. Should be a great topic, and we also have a great guest. So, first of all, let me give a shout out to the people who are in the building today. Shout out to little big bro Yusuf Dabit on the ones and twos. We appreciate him as always. Of course, you got myself, Omar T, in the middle. She said she kicked me out, so we used to both sit in the middle.
Not at all. Stop it.
We used to both sit in the middle, and then she was like, Omar, it's time for me to have my own little space. So she kicked me out of the area and has her own middle. So shout out to big sis, Abeer T in the building. And our guest for today is Nura, a.k.a. Muslim Gangster, a.k.a. Gangster Muslim. All the above. Go ahead and give her a round of applause. She is in the building and looking forward to a great show today. Today's topic is all about modesty in Islam. They pretty much go hand in hand. So we're going to dive into different aspects of that topic. But before we do that, though, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to this show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. You can also check out our new website. Everything will be on there. It's ozmedia313.com. So check it out. This episode will be on there and all episodes of the past as well. So we appreciate you for everybody out there that are supporters as well as our sponsors. Shout out to all of our sponsors of Motivate Me 313. You know, we have a couple new ones, couple ones that came back. So first of all, let's give a shout out to the ones that came back. Yusuf, each and every one, please give them a round of applause. Juice Box, we appreciate them for being a sponsor again of Motivate Me 313. We got Hanley International Academy coming back as well. Yusuf Dabit, go ahead and give them a round of applause as well. And then the rest of them are new ones. We got Jabal Coffee House. Okay, we're going to give them all. Okay, yeah. We got Malek Al-Kabob, Royal Kebab, Holy Bowly, and Wingfellas. You could go ahead and now give them a round of applause. We appreciate them and their supports. And all jokes aside, you know, there's no Oz Media without the sponsors and the support. And so with that said, let's give a shout out to first and foremost our great friends over there at Jabal Coffee House. We're over here drinking the nice Jabal coffee, and then we're going to officially get the show on the road, Yusuf. So shout out to Jabal Coffee House. Jabal Coffee House offers all of their customers an elevated coffee experience. If you stop by any of their locations, you will see a coffee house with a luxurious design, innovative spaces to meet with your friends, as well as exceptional service. They offer the best premium Yemeni coffee and quality crafted drinks. You can try their fan favorite, the Adeni tea, iced Jabal latte, or any of their refreshers and matchas. Also, don't forget to add one of their delicious pastries or desserts to go with your drinks, which we guarantee will satisfy that sweet tooth. They currently have a location in West Dearborn, with locations coming to North Carolina, Illinois, Florida, Ontario, and California. You can visit their website at jabalcoffeehouse.com or download the Jabal app, available on all your smartphone devices. All right, we're officially back, and now it's time to hear what the guest has to say. So, Nura, how are you? How's everything? Can you first of all start off with telling us a little bit about yourself? And for those that don't know, by the way, I'm wearing a lemon shirt for a reason, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does with that. So anything you'd like to mention out there for the audience, Nura?
Okay, my name is Nura. My Instagram handle is Muslim Gangster. I made it in, I think, middle school, high school I made the name.
Wow.
And it kind of stuck with me. I feel like I've kind of outgrown it, but
it's no, I feel like it's so
but
cute.
I'm not a gangster.
That's what makes it cute, because then when they'll see your page, you're like, no, it's cute.
It was, I think it was in middle school, and everyone was giving everyone nicknames, and they gave me Small Muslim Gangster. So then when Instagram came around, they literally said use a nickname, and that was the only nickname I could think of, oddly.
Wow.
And so I just chose it. So I've been on social media for quite a while. I like to showcase modest fashion and just like live a normal lifestyle while like still adhering to Islamic values. I also started a marketing agency / rebranding company called Lemon Studios, and it's called Lemon Studios because I couldn't think of any other name, and I've always had a lemon emoji on my name, and everyone was just associating me with lemons for so many years. So it really sounds cool, Lemon Studios. And then I did a whole rebranding of like, elevate your brand, we'll squeeze out fresh ideas, and it just works. It's so cute.
It's a unique name, Lemon Studios. I like that. Definitely gonna
Definitely.
make.
I remember one of your posts saying that you needed like a bunch of lemons.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
hilarious.
my god, I went to Papaya. They had 10 for 1. I bought so many.
Like, shoot, this is the opportunity.
Well, I had a photo shoot with them, and my mom used all of them. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "I photo shoot."
That's something moms will do. They will definitely make
Show
sure they
use.
make,
Yeah.
they'll make use of anything.
Yeah, wallah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Abeer, first show back. You know, we have to check in with you too. How are you? How have you been? How's Salina? First couple weeks of school, everything good?
You know, this tired, the beginning of the year tired is not like any other tired, honestly. But once you get your class the way that you want them and like train them and like make sure the routines are down, like the rest of the year is smooth sailing.
What grade are you teaching?
5th grade.
Cute.
Yeah.
Do they tell you I see you on video?
Oh yeah,
my
110%.
God.
And they tell me they say it wrong, but they'll say I'm subscribed or
That's
they'll
so
say it wrong. It's
cool.
hilarious.
Precious.
But you know, I used to teach first. First still kind of has my heart, the little ones, but I love my team that I work with right now, and you know, you feel like you do kind of more emotionally with 5th graders.
100%.
Like you build them.
I sub a lot, and I took a long-term subbing position. I was teaching, I believe, 6th graders. It was for 3 weeks, and they literally like they took my entire heart.
Yep, they need a lot of mentorship.
They do, and it's very rewarding, especially when you see growth.
110%. That's the best part.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, I used to be a teacher with Abeer.
Oh,
We
really?
both used to teach together in the same school,
Hanley, that's
yeah,
what-
that's the school we used to work at. And so the kids stealing my heart, you know, that definitely was a feeling that
Yeah.
kind of went away towards the end of my career path. I can tell you that right now. But with that said, like I said, today's topic is all about modesty in Islam. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, they go hand in hand, and I'm sure these ladies will agree that we are not, you know, any scholars or people that are going to sit here and speak on something like we are professional and know every single thing about the topic, but we are going to give you our you know, and I'm not gonna say our opinions, but our viewpoints.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's a great point. Is that we're gonna give our viewpoints on these topics, and you know, hopefully, maybe you can connect and relate, and you know, kind of have a conversation off these conversations. So we'll start off with you, Nura. The first basic question is, what does modesty in Islam mean to you?
Okay. Very tough question.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say that modesty to me, it's obviously the way you dress, the way you present yourself to society, but it's so much more than just dressing. It's the way you carry yourself. It's your humility, your character, your intentions. All of that kind of is modesty.
I agree. Abeer, what are your thoughts on modesty in Islam? And
She literally hit the nail with the hammer. Modesty is a way of life.
Yes.
Literally, in every aspect. It encompasses who you are inside and out. And it is what people know and what they see, and as well as what you know and what's inside of you.
And I think it's when you break down like a person, a Muslim at least for sure, it's probably one of the top characteristics of a Muslim person is being modest. You know, with whatever that they do. And like you said, it is a lifestyle. It's not just something that you can just do for one day. It should be something, and I'm not saying everybody is perfect in every way, but it should be something that you should strive for every single day.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely, you know, when you talk about modesty in Islam, and that definition can be, you know, it can vary for many different ways, and then we're going to dive into those stuff. So going off of that, how does Islamic modesty apply to both men and women, and what are the similarities and differences in these expectations? So Abid, I'll let you start off this one. So how does modesty, you know, basically apply to men and women in Islam? And, you know, we can break down different characteristics. Maybe you could start off with the women part.
You know, obviously I feel like the Quran definitely like, you know, outlines what modesty is for both men and women, and in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But when it comes to like, you know, what it means to everyone individually, I feel like everybody's like at their own level and at their own in their own journey. And like what I think is like modest, what I feel like it fits me might not be what someone else thinks is modest, because I feel like some people are even more, you know, and it doesn't mean that they're like better people or, you know, just better in Islam. It just means like that's just what's easier for them. So there's different, like we just said, modesty is not just how you look, it's the way you speak, it's the way you carry yourself. And you gave some great, you said humility, character, you know, in all aspects. But it's just like to break it down, like, I mean, you know, there's so many different avenues that I can go with this. If it's like, dress, like there's certain body parts that men have to cover and there's certain body parts that women have to cover. But when it comes to, the way that you carry yourself, like obviously, you have to be a good person and, follow, like help me out here. I don't like, I there's so many avenues that I can go with.
Did you want to add on to that too? With
I think it's a really hard question to answer because like, who am I to say I'm a modest person to speak about modesty? Like, and I feel like that's something that me and you are both kind of tiptoeing around.
100%.
It's like, who are we to talk about what modesty is when we may not be the most modest people? Like, we're still trying. Like, I'm not saying I'm a modest person and I'm perfect. I actually have so many imperfections, and I'm still striving every day to be modest in all aspects of my life. Not even just dressing.
Exactly.
But the way I present myself, the way my intentions are, the way I even consume things. Like, sometimes you have to consume in a more modest manner, like overconsumption, for example.
100%.
But I think to me, modesty is just kind of just really, like you said, just follow the values of the Quran, what God has presented to us, and in the way you dress, and the way you carry yourself, and the way that your intentions are. And I think we'll just go in circles over this. It's like
100%. And I also just feel like the shaitan knows what to test you with.
Yeah.
Things that are easy for me to do, like wearing the hijab comes secondhand to me. It might be so hard for someone else because that's their struggle. You know what I'm saying? And like for me, there's something that I'm going through that the shaitan knows that that I can easily be tested on because that's my weakness. And we all have, like you said, every single day we're just trying to be a little bit better than the day before. And like I said, it's literally outlined in the Quran, and I'm like, I don't have anything prepared to read off anything, but I just want to say that modesty is everyone's own definition. And as long as we keep trying to, because at the end of the day, as long as we realize our purpose and that Allah is the only person that we need to please, I feel like that's where all of our answers, that's where it'll become easier.
Exactly.
No, and you guys are bringing up great points, and I just want to throw it out. That's what we mentioned earlier, that none of us are perfect. We don't know every single thing that we're maybe supposed to be knowing. So just having this conversation is hopefully people will respect the fact that y'all even want to address this, and I'm sure the viewers that are going to be listening to this, they're going to know that you're being sincere with your answers.
100%.
You're trying to help out the situation. We're not here to say we're perfect or this is what you need to be, scolding you or something like that.
It's based off personal experience.
Yeah, personal experiences that we want to just share. And I think it's a very important topic in our community because it is a hot topic. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. And I bet you kind of touched on it. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about now is, we talk about the hijab, all right? It's often seen as a symbol of modesty in Islam. So can you explain the significance and why it's important to some women? I'm going to let you start off with this one. I'm sorry, but I know you're looking at me like, why me? So the significance of the hijab, and then maybe we can even dive into maybe even the struggles of maybe why a person is facing that or touching on that maybe, because obviously, it's something that you're not experiencing. But
yeah. So I want to first start off by saying that I think mentioning modesty as a broad topic, I feel like there's so much taboo within it. Like people are just like immediately assume the worst. Like, oh, you're going to talk about what it means to be modest. And it's so impossible to be modest when really it's not impossible at all. And it can start as the simple intentions, the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, and then the way you dress. And all of them are important, but it just, there's a lot of levels to it. There's a lot of aspects where people can obtain modesty. I think hijab is very important. Personally, I think it's very important because it's kind of like a cloth that you put on your head, but it protects you from the entire world. I'm not saying, the sun isn't going to see my hair, or these people aren't going to see my hair. That's not what I'm talking. I'm just, I mean, like me and my friends always talk about this. Like us having our hijab has kept us from being in certain situations that we don't need to be in.
100%.
Going to certain places that we shouldn't be in. Because it feels weird to be in a certain area with your scarf on, right or wrong.
100%.
But if you're not wearing your scarf, no, it may not be as wrong. Like for example, so I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado.
Oh,
I was
wow,
not
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I moved here a couple of years ago. I'm moving back.
Really?
Surprise.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Can we get an air?
Why?
Can we get an air horn right quick, Yusuf? That's breaking news right there. You know what I'm saying?
So I was raised in a community where there were no hijabis whatsoever. I was the only hijabi in my high school, and I was the only hijabi in my entire district.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really hard.
I bet. And it's hot, too, in Colorado.
We spoke to, remember the one guest, Isra Shakur? She was from Colorado, wasn't she, or no? Or was that Washington? It was probably Washington. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. But it was very hard to be wearing my hijab, but also kind of participate in certain activities. Most activities were fine, but for example, prom. Prom here, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I think, you know, they're all kids. They all want to experience it. They all come from the same culture. I understand. I get it. But me over there, well, I'm not gonna find a dress that first of all is long sleeves. Like, well, what am I gonna do with my scarf? Like, it was such a hard thing for me to kind of wrap around my head, and I really, really, really wanted to go.
Wow.
But I was just like at the end of, like, at my innocent self at 17, I wasn't gonna find a hijab friendly like dress, so I just wasn't gonna go. But looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I'm actually glad I didn't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it saves you. And there's so many things, like the after party, the whatever. And mind you, they all were, like, everyone there was, how do I say this? It's their culture. They're not Muslim.
100%.
They're not. So they're doing whatever they know what to do. Like, that's what they're not bad people at all. They're great people.
Right.
But they just have a different culture compared to me. And me having this scarf, I always felt like an outsider. I always felt so weird. But I'm really glad I did, because it saved me from putting myself in bad situations.
100%.
So,
And like even just wearing the hijab, you're like a walking symbol of Islam.
yeah.
Like people treat you differently. They do. It could be a negative way and it could be a positive way. And I just feel like for me,
So obvious.
yeah, it is. It really is. You can't hide it. You know what I'm saying? So it does kind of like check you.
Yes.
Like I'm not going to be a hijab out here wilding out. You know what I'm saying? So, and if
Wait, hold on. I mean, are we speaking for in general? I mean, saying in general, or are you talking about just? Oh, I was messing around.
I know. He has these little corny jokes that he does here and there, but you know, he likes
I'm
to
just
press
saying,
my
you
button.
see her at Ramsey's basketball games. It's
That's
a whole,
different.
Why is it different? You're still wearing.
No, I've actually been a lot better because he's in high school now.
I hope so.
So I can't be as, you know. But anyways, you know, listen, for my baby, I'll do whatever I need to
agree.
do.
Right.
You let me lose my train of thought. I'm trying to think right now.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, like the hijab that does protect you, you're 110% right. And like, see, I can't compare myself to you, right? Because I grew up in Hamtramck. So I grew up with all of my friends wearing hijab. I grew up with it not being like a choice. Like I literally, like once I hit 4th, 5th grade, like I was already starting to put it on, you know? So it wasn't hard for me, but other people that didn't grow up wearing the hijab, or you know, are not like, they, you know, are reverts, or they, you know, grew up like you said, like in an area where it wasn't common, or their families, you know, are Muslim and they don't wear hijab. Like, listen, we don't know everybody's case. We don't know what they're going through. We cannot, like, I will never be the type of person to tell someone or to judge someone over that choice, because of the fact of, one, I will always want them to, you know, I would have that in my heart where I would try to like, you know, convince them to, or be that person where they can like open up to and tell me their struggles. And like, I'll still in my heart still want them to wear it, but I'm not gonna sit there and not be someone's friend, or to bash someone, or to yell at someone. Like, when you give advice in Islam and as a nasiha, you're giving it in a way, first, number one, you have to have a relationship with that person. You know, and you shouldn't come to them with what are you doing, and this is wrong, and you should know, and blah blah blah, because
We tend to hurt each other.
100%.
We tend to push each other away.
100%. And like, who are we to judge when Allah is gonna be the one to judge? Because what if that's their struggle, right? And you're doing a bigger sin, but you're wearing a hijab.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No,
like, we need to
100%.
like.
Me and my friends, I always vent to them, but I tell them, like, alhamdulillah, God is testing me with this thing, and he's not testing me with that thing. Because if he probably tested me with this, I'd probably fail.
100.
When we're looking at someone else.
And like, it's not easy for them either.
No.
Because it's visual.
Yeah.
Like, everyone can see that sin. You know what I'm saying? But your secret sin, like, it's not shown. So it's like, oh, whatever. But like, for them, it's like, imagine, like, it's just their struggle.
Yeah.
Inshallah, like, you know, Allah puts it in their heart that, you know, and they realize the blessing of it.
Yeah. I don't think we realize this bubble of Dearborn that we have that makes us feel so safe and so welcome wearing the hijab.
100%.
Like, when the Palestine thing happened, my mother told me, wear a hoodie and hide your scarf in it. My mom is so religious. Oh my God, this lady, extremely religious. And I, like, hearing her say that to me, it hurt me. Because I'm like, oh, you think it's unsafe for us to show that off, that we're wearing hijabs because of everything that's happening overseas right now. And she's never ever said that before.
Yeah.
And it was, it made me realize, like, no, I'm safe in Dearborn. We were walking, everything was fine. And we're all mourning together, actually, in Dearborn. We were all on the same page.
That just gave me a little. I don't know why they gave me a little bit of.
But I had work somewhere, and I remember like just a gut feeling like, oh my God, Nura, just be careful today. Give extra smiles to everyone. Be extra friendly to everyone.
That's one of the downsides of wearing hijab. You have to be extra nice too sometimes.
Here in Dearborn, we have a bubble. It's safe. You wear a hijab, you are celebrated. You're fine. You have job opportunities. Everything's good. Outside of Dearborn, no, there is struggles.
100%.
And we may not see it because we don't live there. But if I were to have to go right now and apply for a job, let's say in Denver, I'm not going to say they're going to be, what's the word? Racist.
Yeah.
Or, and just choose not to. No, of course not. Like, I still have an opportunity, but they are going to look at me differently.
100%. You got to prove yourself a little bit extra.
Exactly, And I think everyone struggles with hijab. I struggled with hijab so much, but I never had the idea of wanting to take it off. It never came, and I'm really glad it didn't because I don't know how I would have reacted to it. Alhamdulillah, God didn't test me with that. But my struggle has led me to love my hijab so much. I can't imagine myself without it. Like, it's my identity.
100%.
But it came with its struggles.
100%. I still, even the way that I wear hijab probably right now, people would be like, no, that's not modest,
Me too. Every day. Like, and this is also one thing I mention. Who I am in real life is not necessarily 100% the person I am on social media. Whatever I post on social media, I try to make sure extra modest, just because I'm not trying to show off, this. But some days, no, I'm leaving the house and I'm not 100% modest.
Yeah.
And I have.
But you don't want to spread the sin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not this perfect person, but I definitely try to make sure that whatever I post on social media is something that is a good representation of who I am and who I want to be full time.
I love that.
Yeah.
First of all, give those answers a round of applause. Very good answers. That's exactly what we're looking for in this kind of conversation. But I would say maybe a good question would be like, what would you say was your biggest struggle? I mean, because Abeer grew up in Hamtramck, Detroit,
right.
Now Dearborn Heights. Like, she's been around the Muslim communities.
Literally.
What would you say your biggest struggle was, growing up with the hijab and being the only Muslim girl?
So growing up being the only hijabi Muslim girl in the district, and I wonder who's hearing this right now, but I swear I was the only hijabi in the district because I was part of the student board, and I.
So that's what they got. That's where you got the name Muslim Gangster, huh?
Yeah, I knew. Trust me, I knew who was hijabi and who wasn't. And I my cousins also lived there, but they were in Aurora, and we had other Muslims who were in Cherry Creek, and it was just Denver's huge.
Yeah.
And one of my struggles was finding a way to self-express.
Yeah.
Like, to express myself. And I love fashion. I love fashion so much. And it was so hard for me to express my fashion because I felt so limited with this two-piece Amira, by the way. I wasn't wearing shads. Like,
yeah.
We weren't blessed
We all
back
grew
then,
up with two pieces.
Well,
I look like Thomas the Train for years.
yeah, bro. And I remember.
It's the other right.
Top of the Train is pretty funny.
Go ahead, yeah.
I remember the night of my freshman year. I stayed up all night because I was super excited. Oh my God, high school,
yep.
Big new beginning. I couldn't sleep. And it's normal, everyone the night before school, you can't sleep first day of school. I couldn't.
And you get your outfit ready. You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I love fashion. Keep in mind, I hated my scarf and I hated my fashion in middle school. And I don't know what kind of epiphany happened between the summer, but I remember that night, I'm up all night. I'm on Facebook. I discovered Dina Tokyo. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yes, I do.
First video I watch and my eyes get so big and it's like my entire world is there. She's like trying on all these outfits. She gives me a hijab tutorial.
And she's colorful too.
Colorful and very expressive. And this is like 2011, I believe. This is a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And so she even showed this loofah that you put in your head and this whole hijab tour. And I literally, when I tell you, I stayed up all night. I planned my outfit and I'm literally wearing this dress that squeezes out like this, and then I have jeans under it, and I'm wearing this scarf with a huge tumor in the back of my head. And I felt so confident. And that was my biggest struggle, was just trying to bridge faith and fashion together.
Where you can be yourself.
Yeah, and I obviously looked like a fool back then, but I loved it. I was like, oh no, I can still express myself with fashion, but still be a hijabi. And I was experimenting with it my whole life. And then alhamdulillah, these recent years, there's a lot more modest clothing. There's a lot more better
We're
scarves. We're so blessed. Are you kidding me? I would never find this at the mall.
I know.
I was just at Target. I bought a sweater dress in a size XL because they're all too tight.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do? You know, alhamdulillah,
The struggles. People
we-
don't understand. There's some struggles. It really is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more cuter outfits for sure these days.
Alhamdulillah.
But I wanted to touch up on, you know how you were saying like during the Palestine movement, your mom saying about the hijab.
Yeah.
You know, I was alive during 9/11. I don't know if you, how old are you?
I was like 2 years old.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, I
today's
was in
9/11.
fourth
By
grade.
the way, I wanted to film on 9/11
Today, that's what I'm
purposely.
saying. Today kind of marks it.
Yeah.
So the show is posted on, you know, we're going to post it a week later, but today we were recording it on 9/11, yeah.
And like I remember, alhamdulillah, where we were from, like in Hamtramck, it wasn't that big of a I mean, there was obviously talk and scared. We were kind of scared, but in New York, it was like a lot worse. And I remember my cousins were telling me their mom didn't let them wear hijab,
Yeah.
like they were not allowed to,
Yeah.
because
Out of
they would get
protection
pulled
and
and
fear. Right.
So it's a real thing for sure.
And the one thing about the woman is that you know you carry it with you guys. You know, the hijab is something that's with you. With us men, obviously, there's not really, you can't really tell a guy is a Muslim man. I mean, obviously, you have things like, you know, maybe beards or, you know, unless they're wearing like the thobes and stuff like that, but which is not common. Obviously, you're wearing this every single day. So you believe it or not, the women have the pressure of carrying Islam more than the men almost to the outside viewer. You know, that's just maybe the, you know, the person that's just walking by or something like that. So you definitely hold the pressure. Women definitely hold that pressure. So
We're the flag bearers of Islam.
yeah.
I feel like it's jihad in a way.
Yeah.
It is.
Literally.
It definitely is. Great conversation. This is a great time to take a quick break, give them some time to breathe a little bit and continue on the conversation. We're going to give a shout out to our second sponsor, Yusuf, which is Malek Al-Kabob Restaurant. We appreciate them, Murtada, and everybody over there and their support. So shout out to Malek Al-Kabob, and we're going to continue on afterwards. Malek Al-Kabob has become noted as one of the best Middle Eastern restaurants in the Metro Detroit area. The restaurant has become a popular destination for visitors and is always full of satisfied locals who are proud to invite their guests to taste real Middle Eastern food. With options like shish platters, shawarma plates, shawarma sandwiches, lamb chops, fattoush, and tabbouleh salads, you can never go wrong when you choose to eat at Malek Al-Kabob. They currently have 3 locations, West Dearborn, Taylor, and Trenton. Be sure to stop by Malek Al-Kabob to satisfy all of your Middle Eastern cravings. You can also visit them at their website, malekkabob.com. It was brand new. Everything was new to us. So everything
No,
was...
I know, but like showing kids violence is
Girl.
that was
Oh,
not-
Miss Rogowski was no joke.
Yeah.
Miss Rogowski...
Shout out to Miss. I don't even know if she's still alive.
Inshallah.
You know, I had her as well, and my other brother had her as well.
mashallah.
But she was tough.
Yeah.
If we forgot to cross a T or dot a I with our cursive, she would rip up our paper and say, "It's
Penalty.
snowing." Yeah.
By the middle of the year, I was sitting right next to her because of how many mistakes I used to do with my handwriting. But shout out to Miss Rogowski, probably my favorite teacher of all
Yeah,
time.
but she was great. Like, it's
Favorite
weird,
teacher,
but it's like,
yeah. So with that said, you know, you were talking about something about her hoodie and how you were going to mention that
yes.
too.
So speaking of modest fashion,
Yep.
the way I know you, or the way that I kind of like, you know, found you or whatever, was through your hoodies, which I absolutely love. I have one with me and my son, and the message is I love it even more. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about?
Okay, so I have a clothing brand. It's called The Rejectors, and I came up with a hoodie that says "Did you pray today?" And the slogan kind of came from inspo from my mom, because she would always remind me, "Did you pray today? Salati al-yawm, salati, salati." And it
We all hear that from our moms. Shout out
Right.
to moms out
Yeah,
there.
like she was always like nagging me about it, and it's the most like beautiful thing ever when you think about it, because she's not gaining anything from this. It's me who has to go and face my Lord and pray. She's just reminding me, hey, this is something that you are obligated to do. And she instilled it with us from when we were younger, and still at this age she still asks me. And it was just like in that moment, I remember like I wanted to kind of get annoyed with her, but I stepped back and I'm like, I'm blessed that she's reminding me to do something that's going to benefit me and me only.
100%.
And it's a sign. Kids, people at that age need to understand it's a sign that they love you.
Yeah, it
They
is.
actually care about you. They care
100%.
about your, you know,
They're not
akhirah
gaining
and your...
anything from it. They
Yeah.
want you to gain from it, and it was just such a beautiful, gentle reminder. Honestly, it can get a little. Sometimes it's not that gentle, but most times it's
Yeah.
gentle. And so it just kind of inspired me to turn it into a hoodie. And it was just like a gentle reminder. It's not a huge thing, like, oh my God, did you pray today? But it's just like, did you pray today? And it's like it's a nice thing to remind everyone, because I felt like my community specifically, we were lacking in prayer. We were lacking in praying every day, and it was something that, alhamdulillah, like I've always been consistent with prayer, alhamdulillah. But I do have my days.
Right.
I do have my days where I'm running around and I'm not prioritizing praying, or I even have my weeks where I'm falling off and I'm praying almost all my prayers late, and it's not okay.
Yep.
But like it happens, and it was just like it was like something very important to me. My prayer is the most important thing. It's the only thing that's actually consistent in my life. Nothing else I can be consistent.
And you know,
The
like as a
gym,
Muslim,
don't know her. You know what I mean? Like nothing. I couldn't be consistent in anything in my life. And alhamdulillah, the prayer is the one thing that I have been able to be consistent in. And I still have my flaws. I still have my days where, oh my God, I've missed prayer, or I'm praying late and I'm not prioritizing prayer. And I'm like literally scheduling my entire day out. And are you not going to make like 10 minutes for Dhuhr and Asr? Like, are you not going to do that?
Right.
And so that's how I kind of came up with the hoodies, just as a gentle reminder and just a conversation starter. And honestly, just kind of like to push like a more positive like connotation with, yeah, did you pray today? Yeah, I did.
Yep. And we were talking earlier before, it kind of goes with all religions as well, you know?
Yeah. It's not just for Muslims.
Exactly. No, I love it. It's cute. I got to match one with my son.
Yeah.
And
She's that mom.
kudos to you.
She's that
That's
mom.
cute. It's
Like
cute.
hoodies, you know, not anything else. Like I don't force him to, you know.
Stop.
He's in high
And
school.
Eid, we match on
It's not
Eid.
cute at high school anymore. All right,
No,
it was
no,
cute
you
when
should
he was in
like
five.
that.
She's just young and she just has like a young
Thank
style.
you,
most
thank
likely.
you.
The
I
hoodies are
appreciate
for
that.
everyone.
They are.
He's limiting my
And they're
No,
very
no,
good.
I agree.
They're
I'm just saying,
so-
matching set with the mom is the only thing I'm questioning.
Listen,
but I gotta give me a hoodie.
They're
too,
good
so.
quality, and the weaving of the letters are beautiful. It's beautiful. Like
Thank you.
it'll, you know,
And it's not
not
just
even to
about
say anything.
Praying, it's also like as simple as saying Alhamdulillah.
100%.
Like it's as simple.
I love
being able to
that.
say that.
No, it's a great idea, and I definitely think it's also a reminder for everybody too. So that's a great way of doing it too. Marketing, right there, marketing 101. Examples where culture and religion may be intertwined, and then times conflict in the practice of modesty. This is a important question, right? Because a lot of people, you know, sometimes mix culture with religion. And again, not that we are scholars here. But can you give examples of situations where someone might say like, hey, you know, this is okay, when really we know that it's not okay at the end of the day?
Listen, whenever anyone is trying to assimilate or to, you know, not be like, I'll be real with you a lot. I don't know, but in my family, back in the day when they first came in the 70s, they didn't wear the hijab, right? Some of them didn't even wear the hijab. They had, you know, whatever struggles that they had, they were trying to, you know, mesh with everybody here and not be seen and not, you know, be a problem or whatever. So, you know, there's times where you do, you know, assimilate to your surroundings and you do things that, you know, are haram or whatever just to fit in.
Yeah.
So there's that, you know, side. But then there's also the opposite where it's like things are like aib or whatever and they're not haram, but, you know, they're just not appropriate to certain people depending on how they feel. So it just goes on both kind of ends of the sword in a way where like it could be where you're trying to fit in and it's haram and we know that it's haram, and then it could be that it's not haram but because of, you know, culture, they'll say, you know, don't do that. So
I feel like you beat around the bush very
I
well
am
on
beating
that.
around the bush because, like, you know, there's so many examples.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples.
Do you want to give us a couple of examples?
Oh my God, I was gonna say something you did but different.
Yeah, whatever you want. Whatever
No,
you
I was
want.
gonna say I think there's a clear. This is religion and this is culture,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it does get mixed up. But I think it's very, very important to know this is my religion. My religion is to cover. My religion is to this and this and this. My culture is to cover in this way and cover in this way and wear it this way, and especially like there's that culture and then there's American culture. That's a completely different ballgame, and you try to mix all three of them together in this huge melting pot.
And you're like, oh, I'm not Arab enough and I'm not American enough. And I'm like,
it's like, or like, okay, like for example, I'll give you an example. In the Yemeni culture, you guys wear a lot of skirts and a lot of abayas and a lot of like jilbabs, and you guys are very modest, right?
for the
To an outsider, I think y'all are great. We praise you guys at my house. Wallah, like mashallah, the Yemeni community, especially here that I've seen, subhanallah, you guys have held on to your religion, but it's also your culture that you've held on to.
100%.
Where you guys are fully covered.
yeah.
Right?
Oh, in Yemen, like you'll always see, even with the, you know,
Yeah, the niqab.
yeah.
You'll see that too. In
Yeah,
Yemen.
in Yemen, it's like it's if you don't wear it, it's weird.
Right.
Like you stand out like a sore thumb.
Right. But like, alhamdulillah, it kind of ties both in hand because it is modest and it's part of the religion. It helps you, but it's also cultural. But now if I were to go dressed like this, I believe I'm fine. I think I'm dressed fine today. But I would
think
stand
you
out
would
like a sore thumb, right? Would I not?
In Yemen, maybe.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
And so it's like I'm not doing anything haram.
Exactly,
I don't think I am,
100%.
right? And so in the Yemeni culture, you guys are like able to dress like this, and you're not weird. It's normal, and it's part of your culture, and we've accepted that, and we like understand it. But if I were to go out looking like that, probably in my Iraqi community, I'd probably get some stares.
Yeah.
Probably in the Lebanese community, I'd probably get some stares.
Right.
Right.
That's true. You're right.
So it's like it's a battle.
Like you're 100% true, especially when it comes to like norms,
Yeah.
like cultural norms.
Especially if we're like addressing the norms.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't always wear abaya. You know, I wear pants
And I have a lot
when
of
I want to wear
Yemeni friends
pants.
who don't wear abaya, and it's completely normal to me. It's probably not normal to their community.
Yeah, and then when I'm not gonna lie, when I go to Hamtramck, I do dress a little bit different.
Right?
Like you know
Right?
where you
Exactly.
can feel comfortable for sure.
But it's not to say that when you're wearing your pants that you're not modest.
Nothing shows.
Right?
Like literally, I'm covered. Like
Exactly.
but it's like you said.
That's where the culture thing shifts. I remember when I went to, oh my God, I landed in Iraq. And my mom like told me to put my abaya, and I was like, I'm not putting my abaya. I literally have wide pants on, and I have this big, like I had this huge black coat thingy.
Sometimes we're more modest, believe it or not, in regular street clothes.
100%. And I was like, I'm not gonna add another layer to myself. I'm tired of traveling, and I just like, I think I'm dressed completely fine. And then I come to realize, no, I was just completely fine. I'm just not used to it. But then they got used to it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's when you get older and like you realize, you have to know the fine line between haram and
exactly.
Culture.
Yeah.
And when you do your actual, like, you learn the deen the right way, and you have your backup, like, hey, listen,
exactly.
then no one can really question you.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to balance both culture and religion at the same time.
100%. And being yourself too, because like,
where do I come in?
Wallah.
I think the theme of the conversation is everyone has their own battles, so don't judge. And I mean, we're not done yet.
And do your research. Like,
Yeah.
Learn your Islam.
That's the theme about what we're going to be talking about. So we go from clothing to now talking about how modesty relates to the behavior, speech, and interactions. I know we kind of touched on this in the beginning, but how should Muslims approach modesty in other areas? I don't know who started that last one, but whoever wants to start this one, maybe your turn. I think. No,
No, it's okay, boy.
okay.
Yeah, whatever you.
So, like, how we should approach modesty in different aspects of our lives aside from clothing?
Aside from the clothing part,
I love this. See,
yeah.
Me too.
like they're like, okay, everyone can breathe now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not coming after you.
We might even come back to it though, but go ahead. What I'm saying.
So it's like your character. It's the way you carry yourself and the way you present yourself. I could come in here and be very, very stuck up and very shaifa hali, or I can come in here and be like, no, actually, and I have this mindset where I'm not any better or any less than anyone. No one's better than me, but I'm not better than anyone either. And it's something I always have to remind myself, because sometimes like you're in your own head, your own little world, and someone might bother you, and I'm like, but they're still human. At the end of the day, I'm not going to fight them.
100%.
And it's hard. It's a battle. Or even right now, something I've been talking to my friends about is overconsumption. We, like, as a society all across the country, we could like struggle with overconsuming, where something new comes out and you want one of each, and you have a million different things and
No discipline.
no discipline, and it's like in Arabic it's tabdir. There is no need for this tabdir. Or, for example, so the way modesty applies to me and everything, if we're gonna go literal, when I go out to eat at a restaurant, I'm not gonna throw away my food, my leftovers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and I can't. It physically hurts me to, because first of all, I see the struggles happening overseas. Somewhere I shouldn't, like, you feel guilty to even be eating the food when they don't have anything. But on top of eating the food and there's leftover food, I'm not gonna throw it away. I literally feel like crap just thinking of it. So I take it with me. I don't want it anymore. I don't know what to do with it either. Sometimes I'll see a random homeless person, I'll give some, or I just give it to my mom and we give it to the birds in the backyard.
Yeah.
Like that's all we do. But it's just me as a Muslim, I can't see myself throwing away ni'mat Allah.
100%.
That's how I view it.
The blessings of Allah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then when you were saying earlier about like just in all concepts, even the way that you talk to people,
Yeah.
the way that you like even how you interact with the opposite gender, like there's ways to be modest, and when you're doing extra. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is like the golden rule, treating people the way that you want to be treated. And really just taking the time to have a calmness to you. I think that's what I need to work on. Like the biggest thing that I want to work on, like I want to walk into a room and like change the atmosphere of the room to like calm.
Really?
Like I really want to be that person. And I feel like that's like the epitome of modesty, I think. Like when they know that you come in, they know that, oh, okay, she's gonna, like, she's honest, she's, you know, she'll tell me how it is at the same time, but she'll come at us in like a sweet manner. I don't know, I just want to be that calmness that walks into the room. And I feel like you don't have to take over a room by being loud and obnoxious and rude and that assert yourself, right? You can, you know, take over a room by just being that person that is understanding, that's wise. And then my biggest thing that I've been asking Allah for is, like, you know how Rabb zidni ilma, but hikmah as well. Like, I want knowledge with wisdom. I don't want just knowledge, you know, because with knowledge sometimes it comes off as arrogant.
Yeah.
But I want both, you know. So like, that's for me, like, that's modesty. It's even like just your whole aura.
The way you present yourself, exactly. And I've been something I always think about, like, especially recently, especially because I've been interacting with so many people all the time. I'm like, I really hope I'm not taking away from their haqq. Ma qad akhadh min haqqhum.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Any way, and even like a haruf. I speak a lot of Arabic.
Yes.
Like, even in a letter, I don't want to aghlata bhaqqhum. And I don't want to, I want to leave them better than when they first came, but I want them to feel that warmth that you're talking about. But it's all because of Islam. That's why. It's literally all from God.
Literally 110%. And people don't know that's a ni'mah.
It really
like,
is.
Your character is even a ni'mah because, like, Allah hadis who He wants. Allah, like, you know, grants. What's hidayah, not English? I'm like trying to, like,
guide.
Yeah, He guides who He will, like who He wants, you know. And subhanallah, people don't realize. Listen, if you're on the right path, you better thank Allah, because Allah could take it away like this. He could test you and humble you so quick.
Yeah.
And so it's just everything good for me is from Allah. Everything negative for me right now is not from Allah. It's from the shaitan. It's from me. Like, I take all the blame. But literally anything that you benefit from me is from Allah.
God, yeah. I think when you are God conscious and you really strive to be, it shows in your character and it shows in the way you carry yourself. And this life is so busy. There are so many distractions. Life in general is just, it comes with so much, and it's so easy to get distracted in all of it. But that's why we pray 5 times a day.
100%.
Kind of recenter yourself and be God conscious and kind of carry that God consciousness with you throughout everything.
And like, what's crazy was, I think it was Imam al-Masmidi, when he was like, if you ever want to do something and you're questioning it, if you can say Bismillah before you do it, then it's doable. But if you can't say Bismillah before you do it,
swipe that credit card. I got you.
Oh, dang, it's a whole nother struggle. But like, if you can actually say Bismillah before you do it, then you know.
Yeah.
So that's being God conscious, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You know, listening to both of your answers and listening to your answer, Abeer, I see why you kicked me out of the middle. You know what I'm saying? You're
Stop playing, please. Don't do this.
That's it.
We're better making fun of each other, not giving each other
Hey, I'm getting closer and closer to the door, Abeer. Soon.
You know, this is all you.
No, I was messing around. Hey, no, both of you guys honestly are doing it. This is, I know, alhamdulillah, when I was, you know, and Abeer actually was the one that came up with this topic. And then when she did it, and I'm like, you know what, this is kind of what I was hoping for with this kind of conversation.
Yeah,
so alhamdulillah.
To be honest, wallah, you to me, looking at you, not knowing you like personally, but just seeing you and your page or whatever, you exude modesty. You really do, wallah. It's such a cute way too.
But alhamdulillah, it's really hard to be on social media and present yourself. My parents would wish that I wasn't. And I completely understand why, because that's the optimum of modesty, where no one knows you at all.
Yeah.
But I just have this love for being on social media and connecting with people and showing people that I can be a regular girl.
Yep.
There's nothing special.
Regular schmegular, right?
Right, yep. I could be that kind of girl, and there's nothing special about me. I'm not some divine. No, I'm just like you. I'm fallible just like you, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my hardest. Yep. I'm struggling just like you are. I'm struggling with the modest styles that come out that aren't modest. I'm struggling with this test and this test, and I'm still trying. Like, I'm still living a very, very normal life, a great life, alhamdulillah, and I'm still adhering to God.
Listen, your genuine demeanor is what makes you who you are, honestly.
That's from God.
For sure, yes.
Thanks, God.
And, you know, see, she's getting better at this because social media was the next question. So you kind of reeled that one in right there. All right. So fashion trends, social media, the impact of it, you know, what's going on today. So the modern fashion trends, like basically the Muslim youth who are facing that now, you know, you're both, you know, can mature enough now, but you can kind of see what's going on. So like, you know, I guess how can they continue to practice modesty, inshallah, hopefully that's the case, with everything that's happening around them. You know, everybody wants to be like you mentioned earlier, like XLs used to be mediums 5-6 years ago. You know, like I feel like the clothes are getting tighter.
Especially for the men, like, oh no. The
I used to wear
shorts,
I used to wear
like, come
medium
on.
shorts. Now I have to buy XL shorts just for it to go over
The
my
length.
waist. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. That's crazy. But how, like, I guess how can they, you know, keep on showing examples of modesty with what's going on in society and social media?
Social media. So social media can be a blessing or a curse depending on how you look at it. Social media could be a way where you are looking for modest inspiration, where you're looking for modest fashion, and you're seeing so many people who are showing you that modest fashion. It actually has become a trend as of recently. Thank God. I think I needed it too.
Seriously.
And yeah. So you see, like for example, the dress I'm wearing right now. This is by Batul, the collection.
Yes.
Love her.
So cute.
She released all these dresses that are modest, and she kind of made modesty like the new norm. Like, yes, this is how we are. This isn't on the market. I'm gonna make it myself. So you can look on social media to find inspiration and see, oh, all these girls are doing it, and they like there's this whole like kind of like energy around it where it's like you're this cute girl and it's like so like la la and it's beautiful. And then you can also look on social media and see the opposite, the complete opposite, where they're not dressed modest and they're doing this and they're doing that. I don't want to give direct examples. You know, but they're doing this and they're doing.
I was gonna say their handles.
No. We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay modest.
I'm playing around
with our answers.
I'm messing around.
But what I mean is like for example, like it could be a tight dress, or I remember when I was in high school, or even in college, I'd wear jeans and you'd roll up your jeans at the bottom so your ankles would show.
Yeah.
I didn't even think twice about it. I did it. Mm-hmm. But it like that's the connotation of social media and the trends and things I saw on there.
That's true.
No, it's great points. Great points. And I mean, I don't know if you wanted to add on to that.
I just feel like I do see the struggle now that I teach 5th grade. Like the girls, like they're in the era. Half of them are wearing hijab, half of them are not. They're still trying to find themselves. You know, the 2-piece scarves, and like you see the struggle a lot. And they want to be pretty. They want to be, and they see these. They're on TikTok, even if they're in 5th grade. They're on TikTok. They're trying to do the dances. You know, it's a struggle, like you said.
It is.
But I just want to say, like, when it comes to that age, like, parents really need to see who their kids are following and, like, try to gear them in the direction of, like, following good inspiration.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, both sides are out there.
Right.
It's who you follow, you know. And
I don't think it's, like, I think for parents with kids, you can shelter your kids only so much.
It's true.
They will still be exposed to things, but you have to almost instill that deen in them to know that they will make the right choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And also they're very, very young. Like if someone were to talk to me about modesty at 19 years old versus now, like 6 years later, it's a huge difference then and now. Like
That's
back
true.
then it was, I don't want to say a joke to me, but it's like, okay, whatever, I'll worry about it when I'm older. Like I'm doing the best that I can. And truly, yeah, you are doing the best that you can, especially at 19, fresh out of high school, fresh into college, fresh into the real world.
100%.
You're struggling with so many other things on top of it, how you dress, how you express yourself. Like modesty wasn't the number one thing on my head. And that's fine. And I want to give grace to those who are 19, 20, 21, 22.
And they have it.
You don't have to have it figured out right now. You don't have to like have your hijab perfect, but you should be aiming to. Yes.
Yeah.
Right now I'm at the age where like I still obviously have my weaknesses 100%, but if something's not modest, it's not modest. I'm over it. I'm walking away from it. But at that age, no, and I feel for them because if I was at that age, I would also be struggling.
That's true. 110%.
You know,
just have that open
change as you get older.
conversation.
And I think a lot of people don't notice like whatever's happening right now on social media with the girls taking off their scarves or the girls showing their necks or the girls showing their hair or the way that they dress, you have to take in consideration who they are
Yep.
and how old they are.
Yep.
Like they're not bad people.
And what stage of their life they're in,
Right.
and how they grew up, and they all have.
Everyone has their own struggle, and the way that they are right now may not be the way that they are in 2-3 years from now.
100%.
You know, and it's just like everyone has their own relationship.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Wallah, anytime, I'm a lot older than you, but anytime in my life that I have ever judged someone in the past, wallah, Allah has tested me with the same test.
Yeah, بالضبط.
And it's like, I will never judge anyone ever again.
Yeah.
And may Allah continue to keep me this way. Because believe me, my lessons have been learned in a way where I wish I never learned them that way.
Yeah.
So don't judge anybody. Really don't.
It's a very basic concept that I think not a lot of people can grasp for some reason, and it's like you said, it only comes back to them ultimately at the end of the day. So it's very simple. It's not our jobs to judge. So let people go through their battles, and you worry about yourself, because everyone has their own battles.
Yeah.
This is a great time to give us our last shout out of our sponsor, Yusuf, which is going to be Wingfellas, our newest sponsor. Shout out to Wingfellas. They wanted us to join the team, and we said, of course, we appreciate them. They are always. You look at community events and you see Wingfellas is always a sponsor there. And so this is nothing new to them.
Amazing family.
Great people. So shout out to Wingfellas. We appreciate them and all their support. And we're going to move on to believe it or not, the final third of the show. So shout out to Wingfellas. Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wingfellas. Wingfellas restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wingfellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com. All right, so we were all agreeing that the conversation, alhamdulillah, has been really good. We are going to try to, again, we're moving on to the last third of this conversation. So, Abeer, can modesty in Islam be seen as an empowering choice for women? I mean, I think the answer, obviously, you guys pretty much have been talking about this already, which is yes. And I guess, how do Muslim women navigate this conversation? So, let's say I am John Doe from Colorado, okay? And I am here and I'm saying...
Very realistic.
Don't you feel oppressed wearing this hijab, Abeer? First of all, why is your name Abeer and you're Muslim? That's first of all.
Listen, that was like the biggest icebreaker growing up. My science teacher, real quick, so I know we have to wrap this up, but my science teacher in 7th grade, I was late because my dad, we were in Yemen. We were staying a little bit extra. And like 1 month in, I haven't came back to school, and he's like, I want to meet this girl. I want to be able to say I need a beer and not be in trouble. And I'm like, come on. But anyways, long story short, I would tell them, no, like what is it about me wearing the hijab is bothering you? Like, it's not bothering you at all. Like, I don't, it doesn't bother me. To me, honestly, I feel like it's, and this might be like taboo or whatever, but I think it's a crown. Well, I feel like for me, like you said, it protects me. Yeah. It's a way for people, and I always tell John Does out there, or Marthas, or whatever we're gonna name them. Karen. Ask me questions. I don't want to say Karen because like they're mean. Ask me questions, right? Ask me questions. I love it. I love when people ask me questions, and I love answering them with like, no, there's not a stupid question out there. Please, like, talk to me. For me, I would just be like, I would say Allah favored me, God favored me, and wanted to protect me in a way where I don't have to even say something to, have that guidance, and also that reminder. Like you're when you're wearing hijab, like you're constantly reminded, I'm Muslim, and it makes it easier to be God conscious.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably had this question already, but maybe the newer version of yourself.
I learned the answer. I think I saw it somewhere on social media. But if someone asks you why you look so oppressed, like, no, actually, I'm not oppressed. I am covered from eyes like yours. Yeah. So
and we all heard that the lollipop thing where
I know, but
we're not doing that.
But it's just like when someone asks, like, I'm actually not oppressed. This is by my choice, and I'm covering myself to protect myself from eyes like yours or yours, and I also think just having a conversation with people will show them that you're not oppressed.
100%.
They think that we're not educated at all, and I'm just like,
subhanallah, I'm not gonna lie, they're learning slowly.
Yeah, I also will say that based on like my experience with the non-Muslim, non-Arab community, they look at Muslims with like a sense of admiration.
They do.
Because they're like, wow, like we are, alhamdulillah, we really are steadfast in our religion. We hold on to our religion and we showcase it every way that we can. And we're literally just messengers of Islam.
Literally.
And we hold on to a lot of the old school values that they hold on to, the people that used to, be in this country, the family traditions. And
for sure.
They see that we still kind of hang out. Like, you don't see that often.
They see it in all aspects of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
But other people, you see them, you don't know what they are. You don't know who they follow.
And it's usually the ones that like haven't really worked with a Muslim or never lived by a Muslim that kind of judge and are kind of afraid in a way.
Like it's just lack of education.
100%. It's ignorance. And once they work with you, they're like, oh, they're the most honest people, or they're like the best people to go to business with. Because, we know like we fear God. We don't fear you, you know?
Exactly.
We literally fear Allah. So.
Yeah. Great points. And now for you, Nura, and this is like the final actual question, which is we kind of talked about this for people that might be struggling with the hijab, but let's more focus on people who are just struggling with the societal pressures and, how can they find the balance in maintaining their religious values and modesty. So people who are struggling, any advice out there, and this is a great time if you want to look in the camera, this would be a great one. But if you want to, basically, what advice would you give somebody that's struggling with modesty?
I would say, I think it's very important to be self-aware and kind of find what that struggle is. What is it exactly? Like, for example, I spoke to this girl once. She was very young. She was like 12 years old. She was thinking about taking the hijab off. This was many years ago. And like, I remember we were sitting in the circle and people were just giving her all these paragraphs about, oh my God, Islam and hijab is so important. She's 12 years old. She doesn't care. She doesn't like
one ear out the other.
So I'm like, do you feel pretty in your hijab? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, then let's make
that's
you feel
the
pretty.
problem.
That's the problem. But that's like an example, or like like you just have to be a little self-aware. Find out what the actual issue is, because it's not hijab and it's not modesty. It's something else that you can fix. Is it the environment you're in? Is it the fact that you don't feel like you can express yourself and feel pretty in the hijab? Is it that you are not maintaining a modest lifestyle, maybe on what you work or where you are or how you carry yourself, or maybe it's the friends that you have. It's you. All of that plays a huge role. You have it's not modesty isn't the issue and hijab isn't the issue. It's sometimes it does.
Something deeper. I love that. That was perfect.
Go ahead and give that a round of applause, Yusuf.
That was legit perfect.
We actually do have a live audience here who likes to clap at the right time, by the way. Abeer, same question to you, I guess. What advice would you give someone out there that's maybe struggling with modesty?
I think, like I said before, if you know your purpose, and you realize life is short and that, we're here to please Allah, I feel like if you understand that, everything in your life will be aligned in a way where you'll be happier and you'll you'll know the reason why.
Yeah.
And knowing the reason why, like you said, even the reason why they don't,
Yeah.
It's that why.
And modesty is such a topic that's so important, especially obviously in the Muslim communities and in Muslim households. And I think my advice to people, and not just with modesty, but everything in general, my new line to people is you got to meet people where they're at. You can't have them, seriously, you can't, force somebody to, come inside and, you have to meet people where they are at if you really want to make a difference, because ultimately at the end of the day, people are going to, you're going to get pushed back. You're going to get pushed back trying to make them who you are. Meet them where they're at, listen to what they have to say, and then kind of go from there. Adjust how you're going to address the situation based off of what you hear from that person. So I think that's just important to mention that. And again, I'm going to say this one more time before we move on to the final word and final comments, and that is, don't judge. No one's perfect, and understand that everyone has their own problems. Help someone if they are asking for help and or if they need the help. Other than that, mind your business. I'm serious.
Yeah, I
it's pretty simple.
Recently, I was listening to a podcast, and they were saying you have to understand when to give advice and when to just listen. And sometimes you need to ask the person, hey, do you want advice or do you just want an ear to listen?
Right. That's what I asked earlier. I'm like, do you mind if I give you a couple of tips?
Okay, yeah. There
For
you go.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I agree. So with that said, final words before we say them, I want to give a shout out again to everybody that's here and all the sponsors and everything else. First of all, be sure to follow us on all of our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to the show on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media, and you will find all that on our website, ozmedia313.com. It's very simple, ozmedia313.com. You'll be able to find all the episodes and everything else on there as well. Shout out to the sponsors of Motivate Me 313, Jabal Coffee House, Malek Al-Kabob, Juice Box, Hanley International Academy, Royal Kebab, Holy Bowly, and Wingfellas. We appreciate them and their support. Shout out to everyone that's here. We'll let you, because we want Nura to finish us out and close us out. So Abeer, any final words, final comments, any final things you want to say just about this topic and anything you want to mention?
Listen, if you're struggling with any aspect of modesty, I still love you for the sake of Allah, and we're all still, learning and getting better in life. So just keep trying, and we're all gonna, inshallah, reach Jannah. That's all I
Inshallah.
want to say.
Inshallah. And Nura, any final words and final comments?
No, thank you so much for having me on air. This was so fun. And I was really nervous, especially about such a heavy topic, but it was very easy to talk about.
100%.
Alhamdulillah, you guys are very kind.
Of course. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for coming
coming.
on. Yeah, for sure. We
Appreciate
appreciate
you
you.
taking the time.
You are our first episode of season 4, so maybe.
Yay, Bismillah.
Yeah,
Inshallah khair this season.
can you give her, inshallah, give her a round of applause because she did a great job, and Abeer did an awesome job too with helping with the conversation as well. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Like I said, this is what we do. We will try to get you a couple episodes each month, inshallah. That's the goal. Usually on Wednesdays, and we'll be posting them. So look out for that. Again, all you gotta do is go to the website. You'll be up to date with everything. Ozmedia313.com. This was season 4, episode 1 of Motivate Me 313.